With Oliver back in Starling, he quickly realised how much the dynamic of the team has changed in his absence. Most notable was Laurel, and how he was clearly unhappy with her going out there risking her life day after day. We also see the return of the brilliant Vertigo, Werner Seitel, played by Peter Stormare. Will Laurel attempt to try and take down this very tough foe, or will she listen to Oliver's advice and just leave him alone? Welcome to the top 5 moments of the episode, followed by the overall verdict.
Wonderful seeing you again. Ooh, I fancy the new outfit.
As Laurel goes after Seitel alone, she is injected with vertigo and begins to immediately feel the effects, as she sees Sarah as the one she is fighting. Seitel was clearly a foe not to tackle alone, not with her inexperience, as it very, very nearly cost her a life. If not for Roy and Oliver, Laurel's time wearing the black of the Canary may very well have been up.
Get away from her!
You should be dead. I salute your persistence.
You're him.
Yeah.
After weighing up the options, Oliver knows Thea will find out the truth about him sooner rather than later. So he decided that it was time. Time for the truth. He risked, as Diggle said, losing her forever for all the lies that he has told. So the question was, how would Thea react?
Thank you. Tell me who you are and what the hell you think you're doing here.
Serving my master, Rachel Gould.
Gotta hand it to Thea, it looks like she's learning to pick up a few things. After figuring out that Chase was clearly up to something, she attempts to get the information out of him herself. But thankfully she was at her apartment, where the numbers game, as luck would have it, was clearly in her favour.
Sarah's off God knows where, and yet there's another blonde in a mask running around tuning up the bad guys, and it's you, isn't it?
After Laurel knows that she can no longer attempt to follow in her sister's footsteps and that she should just be herself, she made the heart-wrenching decision to finally tell her father the real truth about Sarah.
Not my baby, not again.
Ra's al Ghul preys upon the fears of his enemies. Conquer your own fear, and you eliminate that critical advantage.
Malcolm knows how the League operates and how Raz preys upon his victims. And for Oliver, he knows a perfect place for both him and Thea to eliminate their fears.
Eventually this place will feel like home.
It does not look like home.
It was for me. For other people, this is purgatory.
My overall verdict for this week's episode of Arrow is an 8 out of 10, and a solid 8 at that. My top 5 moments were extremely hard to pick this week, as so much went down. Perhaps the biggest moment of the episode came very close to the beginning. Oliver finally decided it was time for the truth, as he claimed clean with Thea about him being the Arrow and admitting that he's been telling lies to her over the last couple of years to protect her and those closest to him. And to her credit, she took it very well. I mean, Malcolm is now the brunt of her distrust, considering she now knows that he drove a wedge between both brother and sister, but I'm glad that the writers decided it was good for Thea to be understanding that all this time, Oliver was saving lives. I mean, let's face it, Ollie has enough relationship problems going on at the moment, especially between him and Felicity. Another, if not the main focal point of this week's episode, was again focused on Laurel, as we watched her attempt to battle her inner demons, in this time the form of Sarah. Both battles between her and Zytel were great for each of their own reasons. The first, Laurel was taught a vital lesson as she was trying to be Sarah, and that was the very reason which nearly cost her a life. In the rematch, she was able to beat those demons, as she knew now, thanks to a prep talk from Felicity, not to look up to be Sarah, that she should just be herself. And with her being herself, Laurel made the decision that it was time for her father to learn the real truth. Both Quentin and Laurel shared a powerful scene towards the end, as Laurel revealed the real truth about Sarah. Overall, Laurel again was very strong throughout the whole episode. Her arc is becoming extremely satisfying the more it goes on, and this episode really did feel like the baton from Katie Lotz's Canary was now truly passed into the hands of Dana Laurel Lance. Elsewhere, Chase bit the bullet after Thea figured out that something just wasn't quite right with the pop-in, pop-out DJ. I mean, honestly, I'm glad that the character is gone. He's been on the peripheries anyway, so with the undercover assassin from the League now removed, maybe we're getting closer to seeing Nyssa or Raz return to Starling City. And I say this final part with a massive grin on my face. Next week, as we saw at the end, we return to Lian Yu. And remember, Oliver and Thea aren't the only inhabitants of the island. Lian Yu also holds captive my favourite villain. I wonder if he'll get out. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you next week.
It was for me. For other people, this is purgatory.